from Detroit, Michigan, USA. In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Come with me.
Another episode of the In My House Techno Music Show. I am your host, T. Carlita, and today we are keeping COVID compliant, COVID safe. We do our shows through Zoom, and I want to tell you something. You will hear a voice, but you won't see his face. And you know why you're only going to hear his voice and you won't see his face? Because that's the way we do it in Detroit. So I want to welcome that little laughter in the background. DJ DiJital is right there vocally, but you know what we do, Digital? We hide our faces. Why?
Right. Because we're mysterious in Detroit.
That's right. And like Mike Banks said, don't put yourself in front of your music. Put the music in front of you, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right, Digital. So let's get started. So who is DJ DiJital and where did he come from?
I'm from Detroit. Originally, I started making tracks when I was in middle school, just toying around, listening to The Wizard and Mojo back in the day. And that really inspired me, along with all the hip hop DJs like Jam Master Jay. Those images early on inspired me to want to play music. Mm-hmm. So I started on the east side of Detroit. I had 2 component sets that I was using from my family. Like my uncle had one and my grandmother had bought us one. It was this store called Kingsway, and it was down on Warren. And they used to sell a component set for like $120. So back then that was kind of a lot, Mm-hmm. And so we had my family had like 2 of them, and I used to see the DJs in the videos with two turntables. Mm-hmm. So I started practicing and just going to Kingsway. They used to sell vinyl records, mm-hmm. and I would save my little lunch money and stuff. And, I remember buying the record, The Show with Dougie Fresh. Mm-hmm. It was like $6.99 or whatever. But to have this big old record was kind of cool because everybody was kind of playing cassettes or whatever. Mm-hmm. So to have this big piece of vinyl was different for somebody 13 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I used to be putting the speakers in the window, and my next door neighbors would be like, what is they doing over there? Because people would be kind of in the field next door to us dancing a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that was my early thing. Wow, you play these records and people be dancing, kind of on listening to the radio.
And you
So
know
that
what? There is nothing more fun. I remember growing up when we lived on Glencourt, and I used to take our speakers and put them on the porch. And I
right.
mean, you be partying on the block from the speakers on the porch. Boy, oh boy, the
Mm-hmm.
good old days, right?
Yeah, and boom boxes. I
Yeah,
used to love to get me a boom box, but it was hard to keep up with them things as you got older.
right.
So like if you had a boom box when you was 12, if you could keep that your whole life, like you really a good collector, because it seems like you lose things as you get older.
This is true.
And that stuff expensive now. Like a boom box could cost you $1,000 now.
Right.
So you'd be like, man.
And we used to think $50 and $60 was a lot back then.
Yeah,
35
back then
was a lot.
Yeah.
That's so true. So when did you discover that you wanted to make the music yourself? So how did that, you DJ'd, you played around with the records. So when did you kind of like start playing around with actually producing the music? So another question, don't you have some involvement through UR? Because I know everybody in Detroit done went through UR at some point in time in their life, right?
Yep, I still produce for UR, but it's such a secretive place. like Mike Banks and UR is like the army.
Yeah.
So it's like if you could get something out on UR, you proved yourself.
You got that
right.
What I'm saying?
So because that's not easy to do, even if your music is excellent and you the man. Like say you could be Puff Daddy, and he'd tell you, yeah, man, you need to work on this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about fame where you are. Like you really just gotta be able to endure a certain amount of things. Mm-hmm. And that's probably the mentality of the military. It's like it's not about trying to be famous and gold chains and stuff like that. It's the opposite. So, when you do something for UR, it's not really that public. It's more like you will see it when you see it. So that's kind of the thing with UR, that you take it real seriously and you're not trying to be famous.
So do you feel that has really helped you in your discipline as an artist, as a producer, as a creative mind on your own? Do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It rubs off on you because the mentality is to like everything mainstream doing, everything goes the other way. So people in mainstream try to get new cars and be fancy. Hey, look at me, I'm out here. But it's almost teaching you like that ain't the way to live. Like you're supposed to be tight, but you're not broadcasting every move. And that's kind of what social media kind of tricks you into doing if you're not careful, trying to be a show off and don't have nothing under that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with social media and use it, as a proper tool and not as a way to, hey, look at me, I got everything. Because we see a lot of people that be in the studio and they have like $1 million worth of equipment and they never make no music. They just be sitting there taking selfies in front of they do keyboards and stuff. So it's just funny how in the 90s you didn't have all that. So it was more like you really had to use the equipment. Now it's all about, hey, look at this new piece of gear I just bought. And you'll see somebody coming out of Guitar Center snapping pictures. Right. And it's like, you just wanted to show everybody you could afford it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're battling in the 2000s and the 2000s after that, that everything became a show of no substance. So we trying to make good music and get people back to what they hearing and not what they seeing. That's so that kind of played good in this interview because it's not about me being on the camera with a fresh Fila suit on or something. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get in front of the camera, a lot of people like to dress good and they want to look good for the camera when that's not really got nothing to do with what they talking about.
Dig that. So when did you start producing music on your own? Like when did you first approach it and how did that happen?
I think when after you see these rappers that look like you, like I saw Will Smith, and you see all these young Black people doing music, that kind of rubs off on you a little bit. And they started making equipment that you could afford. That's when like the Casio was a good company that always made inexpensive things that the regular person could get. A kid could get some Casio stuff. So they came out with a Casio SK1 sampling keyboard, and that thing was like $99. And this was like 1986, somewhere in there. And so what I would do is take the keyboard, and I would sample stuff off the radio, and just kind of toy around with it. And that little keyboard had like 1.5 or 1.2 seconds on it. So you had to really be creative with that little bit of time. And that's what got me into seeing that you could loop something, like when you could loop a beat or something. And then that got me into wanting a 4-track, because the 4 tracks were like $200 or something back then. And then I could take like the samples and put them on different tracks and mix other stuff with them. So that was kind of the beginning of it, just having a couple inexpensive pieces of gear that you could experiment with. And then as I got older, I was able to get more real studio gear that I could actually put something together that could be mixed properly and put out, on a record or a cassette.
Okay. So we're going to take a quick break, play a couple of commercials. We're going to come right back with DJ DiJital behind the scenes, doing it Detroit style. When we come back, we're going to talk about the music, his music, what kind of music he makes. In case you guys don't know, that's the purpose of doing this show. And to just talk about some of the music tracks that he has produced and kind of like find out what was in the minds of his brain when he was making these tracks. So this is T. Carlita with DJ DiJital running around in the background. We'll be right back after this break.
You are in my house, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. Most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Chabris wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
And remember, stay safe, save time, make your appointments and payments online.
In My House Radio, online 24/7. Featuring only the best techno and house music. And be sure to tune in for Sunday Inspiration, every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get connected, www.inmyhouse65.com.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Chabris. There are payment plans available to help save your property. Visit our website at treasurer.waynecounty.com or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com for further information. We're here to help.
This is DJ DiJital, and you're listening to In My House Radio with T. Carlita.
So we are back with DJ DiJital doing it again. Like I said, COVID compliant and absolutely Detroit style, because guess what? It's all about the music. It's all about the creation. It's definitely, as we said before, not about the person and what they look like. So we are keeping compliant all the way through Detroit style. Ain't that right, DiJital?
Right.
So the name DJ DiJital, who gave that to you and where'd it come from?
I had like a lot of DJ names at first. So at first I was DJ Precision, and then DJ Breeze. And then I guess I was joking around with somebody, and we was just talking about how whack DJ names are. Some of them. Because a lot of people just call themselves what their name is.
Right.
You know, and then that could get boring or whatever. But this digital thing was starting to come about. And I think because I had seen that the way it was spelled it didn't look good. Like digital with the G just didn't look right. It never looked right to me. So I just started playing around with the J. And I noticed in Europe, sometimes the J replaces the G in some languages, and even in some spiritual type stuff too. Later, I found out after I did it that it was a spiritual thing. With it was this movie called Wishmaster, and that monster guy, he was called the Jinn. And like it had that same type of spelling, and I was like, oh man! But I had already thought to switch it out like that. But I thought that was kind of spiritual. That the language is what it sound like and not what it looked like, because the digital with a G don't sound like that. If you said the word G, the G don't make that note that sound really.
Right.
So I just thought that those were a couple little things about our English language that throw us off. And because like you could say a word and it be spelled a certain way, and you be like, if you look at the word, it look more like what it sound like and what it means. So that's when I started getting into words and how the words actually do have spells on them. Like that's why when you curse at somebody, they get mad at you because you've been taught that, like F-U-C-K. Like if you say that, people be like, why is he cussing? You know what I'm saying? So it's like certain words make you do things. So you like, man, you could say the wrong thing and get shot at.
Right.
It's just
words
like,
have power, that's for sure.
Yeah. So with the name, I just thought that it looked, with the J, it looked like it sound more like digital, like more like futuristic type thing. So so once I really liked the name once I spelled it that way.
Got you. And the English language is a derivative of everybody else's language anyway. So, like you said, the J versus the G, the pronunciation of the J versus the G, like in the Hispanic.
Even with God. Yeah, with the Yahweh and
exactly. So
you be like, man, that's like a silent letter. Because when you say Jesus, it'd be somebody named, like it's people named Jesus. Jesus so is Spanish. To me, it seemed like almost seemed like they making fun of it. But I know it's just a word. But
right,
if Jesus is the Son of God name, it's almost like I wouldn't name my son Jesus.
Right. But then they probably named their son Jesus because of Jesus. It's like giving that child Jesus to make them more,
that could be true too.
Biblically spiritual. Because a person, the mother and the father, when they're choosing the name for their children, most often, if they're not naming their child based on family lineage, they usually try to pick names that have meaning. At least that's what it used to be, especially in
Right. Yeah.
you know, every if you don't have like if you don't know what your name means, you're just vicariously going through earth with no purpose
True.
until you
Yeah.
find out what your name means. When you
That's
find out what
true,
your name means, it's like, dang, I wish I'd known that a long time ago. Maybe I wouldn't have FUCK'd myself up so much.
Yeah, it's better to know that to be named after something God-like than something else. You know, like
Absolutely.
there are people named Satan.
Yeah, I'm like,
I was like, why? How would you do that?
yeah, curse your child before they even get a chance. So let's get into the music, man. So you got some tracks, you got some music. What inspires you? Like when you sit down to get ready, unless it's a real secret you can't tell. I gotta.
Oh no, I'm more open with it now.
Because you know some people don't want to tell.
Yeah. It's not a big secret or nothing like I used to think of it back in the 90s. I did.
Well, that's how y'all were groomed, right?
Right. Yeah. Back then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what goes in the mind? Like, do you write first? Do you just hit the board or whatever?
A lot of times I just I cut the equipment on and I usually start with drum machines because drums to me lead me to the other rhythms that I'm going to come up with. Mm-hmm. So I usually just start with some basic drum patterns and then add on to it. And I go back to it. Like if I can't come up with something right away, I'll go back to it. I watch movies. Movies inspire me a lot to get ideas. Like all the ideas are in the movies already. Like if you watch a movie, you could hear so many concepts because what it take to write a movie obviously is longer than it take to write a song. So you have like, if you look at a movie, it's hundreds of songs in a movie, like titles, the way people speak, samples. So to me, you can find a lot of new ideas out of old things. You know, because it's almost like we recycling everything anyway. You just got to be really creative with what you're doing.
Did you watch the Wu-Tang Saga? Have you seen that?
I think I started watching.
Yeah, but when you said watching the movies, it put me in the mind of Wu-Tang kind of because they watch all the Shaolin Temple stuff. A lot of their music is a derivative from those Shaolin movies that they used to watch, and they got a lot of inspiration. So yes, movies definitely.
But I think one thing that sets it apart, because everybody probably think like that. A lot of people probably have saw a movie and heard a phrase or something, but you got to be a good engineer to be able to take something out of a movie the right way. So it don't sound sloppy or whatever. So that's what Wu-Tang, the way RZA and them could put things together was light years ahead. I mean, they would be chopping and you'd be like, man, they must have took hours to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't something you could just hop on there and do it. You know, so I think that's why people don't mind you knowing where they got the idea from, because they feel they're advanced in how they put it together.
Right. So that's similar to what you're saying. So you turn it on, you start with your drums, you lose it, or you get a little brain freeze. Let me just walk away from this thing right quick.
Right.
So let me watch a movie right quick. And
get
then
another
take
idea,
a nap, eat a sandwich, drink some Kool-Aid, and then go back, right? That's how it goes.
But you know, Kool-Aid to get you jumping.
I know. Well, you need some jumping music with Detroit Techno, man. We gotta get that dance floor moving, man.
You know, we used to mix Kool-Aid with 5 o'clock gin.
Yeah,
like that is the nasty.
That
it's so nasty. I mean, but back then you was just trying to get a buzz, you know.
And we did that, didn't we? And we survived and lived to tell it.
So that's why I say they talk about what you could get sick from now.
Ooh.
But we used to do some stuff that rivals a lot of this stuff they doing now. You know, drinking Cisco and
right. And Cisco was
for breakfast. This is like for breakfast. You like, oh man.
Kickstart my day off with some Cisco, and they only sold it in our neighborhood. So
Yeah, so that's what's poisoning us.
get an OE, and a joint. You good? No.
Yeah, we used to really look forward to that buzz too.
Yeah. Thank God we've outgrown that stuff.
Yeah.
Most of us anyway.
Right.
But so when you put together a record, what's the longest out of all of your music? And you don't have to go back that far. But can you think of one off the top of your head that really took a long time to, like, you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm still working on this? Which one is that?
Back in the direct beat era, I had a record called The Mind of the Master.
Yes.
That's probably one of my more popular ones. And it took a while because it was really a concept that I knew I could go back to later. And that's what I think some of the big music people, they make stuff that they can go back to. It don't just be like a quick hit, you know, and I think concepts is what kept me making music. So the record like that took a long time to think about. It didn't take a long time to record it, but it took a long time to come up with a way to take these little phrases from movies and make it make sense. Because anybody could just grab something off a sampler and be like, yeah, that's cool. But it's like you wanted something to make sense. So maybe 20 years later, if you remixed it and you gave it to somebody, they'd be like, okay, I could remix this because I know what you was trying to do back then. You know, so that's what I think is hard about some of the music that come out today, especially from rappers. They just say something like "shake your butt," and you be like, "Oh my God, is that all that we gonna talk about?" And back when Public Enemy would say, "My Uzi weighs a ton," and you like, I gotta think about this,
right?
And then you be like, some guy at a party talking about, "Look at these girls and look at this car." You like, man, that's what hip hop is now. It's look at this girl and look at these cars. So you like, dude, y'all, and they got the women like Cardi B and them, they good, but they I could tell their publicists or whatever seems to be focusing on sexuality all the time and not talking and not spitting good bars like Lil Kim. And even Nicki Minaj was really could rap. So you be like, I want to hear Cardi B rap real good, not shake her butt all every day.
And if she had to do that, she probably couldn't.
So you just want to sometimes hear hip hop in its, it's good form, not just, hey, we finna do the video with Megan Thee Stallion. She gonna bend over. You like, oh man, come on. We just seen her do that enough. So it's like, let her do something else. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I think the record companies, they got to make money. So they trying to get the young people to just not think like they used to in the 90s, you know, because when you put on a Public Enemy album, you was thinking, this is some Malcolm X stuff right here.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want you to, even NWA is negative. Some of the stuff they would say, it still had a vigilant point to it. So, and I think they were scared that if you get too many people, especially black people, riled up, you don't know what could happen. Because I used to ride around with NWA tapes on Bill Owl with the F the Police.
Oh boy!
And sometimes I would want to see what would happen if I rolled by a cop and played it. I didn't do it though. I wasn't that brave. But
you thought about it.
But you could get really messed up if you take things too literally.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to be like, this is entertainment. You know, don't go overboard with it. But I could tell even the young women now, they probably look at Meg Thee Stallion and be like, maybe I could be a stripper and make it.
Right.
You know? So it's sending some of those wrong messages. So with electronic music, at least we can kind of hide behind a sci-fi concept and keep it, less sexual as possible.
And really and that's what I like about Detroit techno music and Detroit electronic music, electro, everything that comes out of Detroit. Really. Now you brought up one of my most favorite records, The Mind of the Masters. In the mind of the masters. In the mind of the masters. I mean, that's how it sounds, but your voice on it is way better than what I just did. Don't you hate when people try to sing your song and they just totally screw it up like I just did? But no.
Oh no, I like to hear people remembering songs.
Oh my God. Do you know that I play that? That is one song that I guarantee you is on regular rotation on In My House Radio. And every time
I'm messing up. I'm really messing up. I have not even, I gotta, you know what I'm saying?
But you know what? We're both learning each other. And I'm gonna tell you, I got more familiar with who you are through COVID because I was at home. I got to learn people.
I know, ain't that I guess a good thing that came from that thing. That monster.
Because just think about this. I've heard Mind of the Master for a long time, but I didn't know who DJ DiJital was.
Right. I saw you at that party too.
Which one? Look, you see my face?
Shari.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Did we speak?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was the last gig that people kind of got to enjoy before the mess came.
Mm-hmm.
This was 2019.
Oh yeah. But yeah, you're right. It was crazy, but like
not 3 years that went by. I'm like, damn, time going fast.
Mm-hmm. And look like we'll be able to get out and party a little bit in May, but I'm still going.
I'm kind of worried though.
I'm not doing it. I'm gonna let them go. Yeah. I'm gonna let them do everything they want to do. I'm gonna
watch everybody DJ
from the sidelines. Yep.
And I'm gonna send somebody out there with some records to sell.
I know that's right.
And I'll just pay them to take chances.
I still think May is too soon with all this stuff going on. I know they.
Are they doing movement?
Yeah, they got the flyer up saying it's gonna happen, but
no,
anything subject to change between now and then. But they are pushing for it. But I don't know how the internationals are going to be able to travel over here. So I don't know. I know what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be laying the cut. If y'all got a virtual, I'm watching it virtually. That's how I'm doing.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do a virtual DJ set and just broadcast it from my bedroom.
That's what people have been doing.
Yeah,
you know, I'm glad you brought that up, from my bedroom. So there's this joke around the DJ world talking about being a bedroom DJ.
Right.
So all the bedroom.
At least we ain't in the hospital.
Yeah, get that, dig that. You right, because you couldn't do it if you were. But, a lot of bedroom DJs, like you said, they just got all this equipment. They done went to Guitar Center and all this place, and they bought all this stuff. And then they go home. And because social media allows you to just get on there and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. But then there's been some that came out of that. I learned a lot of DJs like that ended up being really good,
Yeah.
But how will they, that is social media good. How will they really be when they're in the real world good? Will they be good in the real world? You know what I mean? So it really depends on how you study music, how you create your music. That's going to really gonna set you apart from what you did in social media world versus real world, right?
Yeah.
Because that's like, you notice sometimes the studio record sounds one way, and then when they go perform live, it's like, wait a minute, they can't even.
I know. Sing. I hate when I hear somebody that don't do it. I'll be like,
like, okay,
that was a studio artist.
Whose voice was that for real? Was that a Milli Vanilli on us? No, I'm just kidding. So I am so glad that you are here. And where do people get your music? Like, where is it available? Where is it sold? Do you still do vinyl too?
Yep, I press my own records and I put out records with other labels. So see, part of the studying of music is not falling for what people tell you. Like, don't never listen to nobody. Like, do what you like to do when you in the studio, and then when you get ready to sell your music, you got Bandcamp, right? Bandcamp lets everybody go on there and look at what you can do right now. So when you mix that with having other labels put your stuff out and your own label, you can't lose. Now you got Now, can't nobody say you sold out because you got your own label. And then if you want something to reach a different audience, you just put things where you want them. So that's how my strategy is now. I got music in so many different places that I'm going to catch every audience person I can. And I think that's the point of making music, is to get as many people to listen to it as possible. So don't never let nobody tell you selling out, because you want to reach you want 1 million people to know you exist. You know what I'm saying? So like I start with my Bandcamp page. You could just Google DJ DiJital on Bandcamp and I pop up. And then, I have records out on Trust Records. I'm working on some UR stuff. So I'm going to be as many places as I can. And, after, rest in peace to Mike Huckabee. When that happened, like my whole life kind of like changed a little, because I was like, I couldn't believe somebody I knew personally that I was just kicking it with was gone. So that's when life kind of be like, life will tell you, I don't owe you nothing. And I don't care how well off you are, you could not be here tomorrow. So that's why, I just do everything I can do all the time. Because your time could run out at any moment, whether you get sick or not. You know what I'm saying? You might not be sick at all. You might slip on some ice.
Anything.
So you be like, I could get taken out by anything. So why don't I just enjoy my life every day and do as much of the thing that I love to do all the time? So that's why now every day I'm recording something. It could be some crap, but I'll be like, hey, I did a song today. So that keeps me going. That way, if something ever happened, they know that guy was working his ass off in the last 5 years.
Right. There you go.
So I ain't gonna go out like no sucker, basically. You know what I'm saying? So that's like Mike Huckabee, that just hurts. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, man, you could just be like chilling and then something bad happens. So you just gotta let life do what it do, but don't let life whoop your ass. Like get up and don't be lazy, make you some music or whatever, whatever you like to do, but don't get caught just like, I'm gonna just sleep my life away and don't do nothing.
Right. That's so true.
So that keeps me going, just knowing you better stay active pretty much,
So if you could give some words of encouragement, some DJ DiJital words of inspiration to the up and coming, somebody who's contemplating, I really want to make some music, but I'm scared, or will they like me? Most people be like, have a fear or don't feel that somebody want to hear it. What would you say to that person who's thinking about it right now? Give them some advice from the mind of the master.
Well, I would just say, be inspired to do it. Try not to do music because it's a fad to you, or like you be like, oh, look at that. I just want to get into that. That might not last for you if you don't really care about it. Try to genuinely want to do music and be inspired to do it, and do some research on the type of equipment that the type of music you're doing needs. Don't just go buy a keyboard because you saw somebody take a picture of it and they looked cool. So a lot of gear is sell because they're the colors, and they had a sweet, like Guitar Center, famous for that stuff. You go in there, you could not know nothing about music and just be like, wow, this stuff looks so pretty. And you buy something just because it's pretty or whatever. So, try to have some knowledge about the why that you're doing this music or what type of music you're doing, and try to get into it, get into it and enjoy it. If you're not having fun doing it, you might as well just not do it. you know, and that kind of go with school or whatever you like to do. Some people hate school and they just be like, man, I gotta get this job or whatever, you know. So try to do things because you inspired to do it and not because somebody pressuring you to do it. You know, if you find it's having fun, you won. Because even if you don't make no money and you had fun, you like, man, I love doing this. You know what I'm saying? So you're not doing it for the money or whatever. So that's what I started. Somebody kind of was telling me that when I first got with the Burden Brothers Direct Beat, Lenny and Lawrence had some really good information. I mean, they kind of laid it down like you was like a teacher would, you know, and just like have fun doing it. Don't try to think you're gonna be Jeff Mills. You know what I'm saying? And that don't mean you can't be good as Jeff Mills, but don't think you could set your goal like, hey, I'm gonna be the next Jeff Mills. That's where you mess up. You just gotta be the next you and do real good. You know what I'm saying? It's good to be inspired by those people, but let you know what I'm saying? Let yourself be who you are. Don't try to copy somebody.
There you go.
And a lot of young people, they get on there and be like, I'm gonna be the next Amigos or I'm gonna be Drake. You know what I'm saying? And they want to sound just like them. And then people be like dissing them because they be like, you ain't nowhere near him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, try not to get out there comparing yourself to somebody already established. Just do you. Do what make you happy. You know?
That's awesome. Awesome advice from the mind of the master. So DiJital, I want to thank you again for taking time out of your schedule, taking a few minutes away from your studio equipment that I'm sure you're probably tinkering around with it right now.
Yeah, if the lights is on.
I'm sure. But I appreciate you. And we are going to listen to, before I start playing your other songs that you submitted to me, after this break, we're going to go. I like the Mind of the Masters personally. So I want y'all to listen to this Mind of the Masters first. And then we're going to listen to the other music that DJ DiJital so preciously graced me with. And y'all will hear that too. How about that? So let's listen to Mind of the Masters for a minute. And that song is so interesting to me. I love that song. It's just so amazing.
I appreciate it.
Oh my God, it's just awesome. But I really want to thank you again for being here with me by virtual. You know,
thanks for having me.
I totally appreciate it. And
appreciate the voice, being able to express things. You know, that's really nice. To be able to be on your platform like that. Thanks.
Yes, I appreciate you so much. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to just listen to music by DJ DiJital. So this is T. Carlita. DJ DiJital, thank you again.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
All right, guys, take care. We'll be right back. But like I said, on the other side of this break, we just go music you from the mind of the master. This is T. Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
This portion of the In My House Techno Music Show is brought to you by Miko Events and Designs, specializing in events of all occasions and floral designs for your many needs, weddings, funerals, birthdays. Let Miko design and let your room come to life through Miko's Events and Designs. That's Miko Events and Designs. Find her on Facebook, follow her on Instagram. To get in touch with Miko, she can be reached 586-222-9752. That's 586-222-9752. Or email mikoeventsdesigns@yahoo.com. Miko Events Designs. Thank you so much for being a proud supporter of the In My House Techno Music Show.
Thanks, Charles, for letting me use your gardening supplies. I'll make sure I put it back in the garage. Man, tending to that lawn is a lot of work.
Tell you the truth, Jim, I'm more concerned about keeping this house.
What's going on?
Well, you know, Sarah lost her job 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Since we lost that income, the bills have been piling up, and we're so far behind. I don't want to lose the house because of back taxes. I don't know what to do.
I understand. The same thing happened to my sister and her husband when he lost his job. Do you know that the Wayne County Treasurer has plans and programs to help people stay in their homes?
No, I didn't. Tell me about it.
Yeah, go to www.treasure.waynecounty.com and see if you qualify.
What's that site again?
www.treasure.waynecounty.com.
Got it.
New music. In the club, who you be? In the club, who you be? In the club, who you be? Outside that club. Outside that club.
This is DJ DiJital, and you're listening to In My House Radio with T. Carlita.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlito, where the true stories are told and great music is played. are in my house, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.